Hey guys, and welcome back to Monka, where stupid shit ensues, and today is something a little bit different because I've never really done a video like this, but I'm a bit late to making a video like this as well. But I don't know, a couple of weeks ago I started thinking about my favorite and least favorite game, or the best and worst game I played in 2021, and I decided to start compiling the list and start thinking about actually making a video to talk about my favorite and least favorite game of 2021. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to talk about my favorite and my least favorite game that I played in 2021. But I also have honorable mentions for the best and worst game I played last year. But because as you can see, I have an entire collection of games. Every one of them that I'll be talking about for honorable mentions and then best and worst. But I played a lot of games last year. I actually can't tell you how many. I can't remember. I've played a decent amount, like probably 15 to 20 if I had to guess last year. So I played a decent amount of games, and I can say for a fact that I played some good games and I played some not so good games. So I just kind of compiled a list to talk about it, but worth noting that every game that I played last year was a Switch game. I pretty much in 2020 and 2021 was just exclusively a Switch game where I played nothing but my Nintendo Switch. 2022 is changing a little bit because I got a Steam Deck, and so now I have access to my full Steam library that I had before I kind of quit PC gaming. I also got games I bought, so that might influence my list for 2022 because I'll actually have games outside of the Nintendo Switch. But without further ado, let's get into the list. Now I'm going to start with best game that I played in 2021, but I'm first going to start off with honorable mentions. I actually have 4. I know that sounds a bit loaded, but I had a hard time slimming the list down to 3, so I picked 4 honorable mentions. I'll talk about each one of them briefly, but for first honorable mention, and I don't really It's an alright game, but this is Caligula Effect, specifically Caligula Effect Overdose, that was released on Switch and I believe PlayStation 4 and PC as well. NIS published, For You developed. Not a lot to mention about this one, honestly. It does get a nomination though because I did really like the combat, dungeon crawling, and the setting of almost this weird cyber world. That's kind of what I liked about this game. Unfortunately, it really is on the low end of the best game nominations because it really isn't amazing. It's a really good game, and I think it gets more hate than it deserves, honestly. This game gets a lot of hate, ignoring the fact that it's actually a pretty decent game. This game gets hate, a lot of hate, but it's actually a really good game, so I don't really, in my perspective, I really don't understand the hate. It gets compared a lot to Persona, which I think is an unfair comparison because really the only thing similar in this game to Persona is the fact that it takes setting in a school, or it's school kids and a high school setting, but that's really the only similarity it has to Persona. Besides that, it's its own game, and it has a really unique combat system, and it just has a good story and a really unique soundtrack as well. So I actually really like this game. It does have a lot of flaws, which, as I understand, Caligula Effect 2 bumped it up a lot and made it a lot better. Haven't played it yet, so I don't know, but it does have its flaws. It's kind of slow, and the story kind of is boring at points, so it does get points knocked off, and it is on the lower tier because it is not amazing by any means, but it's still a really good game, and it definitely deserves a best game of the year nomination. The Outer Worlds is my next nomination for best game of the year. I did play this one on the Switch as well, which it actually is a decent Switch port. I understand it released pretty rough, but in its current state, it's actually pretty good to play on the Switch, and it bothered me none that it was the graphics were downgraded. It was fine to me. But this game is Obsidian developed, Private Division published. I don't really have a pedigree with Private Division. When this game was actually published, it was the first time I ever heard of them. Obsidian made Fallout New Vegas, which is one of my favorite games. I absolutely fucking love Fallout New Vegas. Unfortunately, this doesn't match up to the level of greatness of Fallout New Vegas, but this is still a really solid game. I see this game sometimes as well, kind of similar to Caligula. It sometimes gets a bit of hate, but honestly, I don't understand it because it's a really solid shooter, and it's a good RPG shooter that's really enjoyable. Is it amazing? I wouldn't say it's amazing. I would say it's pretty great. I would put it in the factor of it's a great game. This is actually a fun RPG shooter. It's not going to be in the level or vein of something like Fallout New Vegas, but it's still really good. It really just falls short in the fact that, and this is actually kind of a plus to me, but it's pretty linear game, which I'm actually fine with. But the problem is the worlds are kind of bland and the characters can also be kind of bland. bland. The environments aren't really all that interesting. The characters as well are not that interesting, but the gunplay is really solid, and really the bones of this game are really good. It's just it can't hit it a game of the year because unfortunately the bland settings really like hold this game back. Like there aren't like a bunch of like variety of like areas or settings. Like everything kind of looks the same, and it really holds this game back from being like amazing. I think they may be able to resolve that in the Outer World 2 or the Outer Worlds 2. Hopefully that is the case. With the bones that this game has, they can make like a really awesome game, and this game has really like solid shooting mechanics and like humor and everything. It's just the fact that the exploration is kind of boring really holds the game back. Hopefully with the future release of the Outer Worlds 2, they can really bump it up and make Outer Worlds 2 something really memorable. As it stands though, the Outer Worlds is a really solid game, and I'd still recommend it nonetheless. Third game nomination for best game that I played this year would be Dragon Quest Builders. This one again on the Nintendo Switch. I am not sure the other systems. I know it came out on the Vita. I do not know if any other systems it's released on. But this, I've never actually played a legitimate Dragon Quest game, but I've played Dragon Quest Builders. I do have Dragon Quest 11 and Dragon Quest Builders 2. I just have yet to play either of them, but this game is Square Enix published and developed as far as I'm concerned, and honestly it's a pretty great like Minecraft similar building RPG. It's actually pretty unique, but this game is really good for just building and relaxing and honestly just enjoying yourself. It is a Minecraft equivalent, so you can just really have fun just gathering resources and shit and just building and just like, you know, chilling while you're playing this game. It was a really nice chill experience. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the combat, I enjoyed building. Really, I enjoyed a lot of part of these games. Unfortunately, and this is a big unfortunate that really marred this game, was the fact that it does drag on for a bit. There's 4 chapters spanning the game, makes it about 50 hours long, which kind of drags on. And each world, your settlement reset, which was really sucked, because if you really built up like a cool settlement, it would just get wiped in the next world, and that was really disappointing in this game, because I spent like a lot of time in the first world just building and having fun, and then when it got wiped in the second one, I kind of just built what was necessary, and that was it for the next 3 chapters instead of actually like building up a legitimate settlement. That's really a big problem with this game. I heard it was fixed in Dragon Quest Builders 2. I hope it was, because that was the big holdback of this game, was unfortunately when your settlement got just reset, it just kind of sucked. But it was a fun game to play, but that was a major mar that really held it back from being like amazing. Now the final game in my nominations for best game of 2021, and really the one that would have won if I didn't play the actual best game nomination, is Miitopia. Yeah, I know, a fucking surprise, right? Like a fucking like Miitopia somehow gets nominated for best game. I was surprised by this one. I did not expect this game to be as good as it was. Miitopia is a surprising hit. Like, it's really fucking fun. Both Nintendo published and developed. This is a really chill experience of a game that's just really fun, enjoyable, and like I said, chill. And I think that's the really big part of it that I really enjoyed this game, was it was just a chill, fun, relaxing, and experience that I could just laugh while playing. Like, I just created like random ass me's that acted stupid and did stupid shit, and I was just laughing while playing the game, and you're just chilling with this casual RPG. Miitopia is a really surprise hit. I cannot lie. I enjoyed pretty much everything about it. I really can't name something that I did not enjoy about this game. I enjoyed the music, the humor. The story's a loose story, but you know, you don't really expect from a game called Miitopia to have like a deep story. It's a loose story built around characters that you make. It's just a really fun experience. The combat is chill. I mean, it's just a good all-around game. I have no complaints about this game. This is a fun game. With the time that I spent with it and how it was just chill, it was good. I can recommend this game 7 days out of the week. It is amazing. If you haven't played Metopia, honestly, this is the one to play. It would have been Game of the Year if I just hadn't played the other game, and the other game swooped in like November 2021, so it just barely got in for Game of the Year, but I digress. Now, best game of the year, 2021. I have a video about this game. Probably won't be out by the time I make this video. This video will probably come out before that one, but best game I played in 2021 was Blue Reflection Second Light. Look, I've talked about this game in great detail in the video that I have about it that, like I said, probably hasn't been published yet, but my fucking god. Blue Reflection Second Light might be one of the best games I have played in years, and may very well be one of the best games I have ever played of all time. And I am not fucking lying when I say this. This game is fucking amazing. I don't know what they did. I've heard bad things about the original Blue Reflection. I haven't played the original Blue Reflection. Whatever criticisms they took to improve this game, they really took them and made something that just has so much heart and soul that I fucking love this game. Koei Tecmo published, Gus developed. This game is fucking amazing. I can't put into words how much I love this game. I can try, but this game is just, it's unimaginably like amazing. I can't explain it. It's so hard to explain, but everything about this game is so fucking good. The story, the characters, the music, the gameplay, the world exploration, it's all A+, S tier. No, I swear to God, not A+, fuck that shit, S tier. This shit is S tier, and this game is just so amazing. Everything is just, God, I love this game. It's so hard to verbalize it, but I fucking love Blue Reflection Second Light. This game is amazing. The combat is great. The music is something else. I can't even speak on the fucking music. This is one of the soundtracks where every song on this soundtrack is a fucking banger, and I go back to the soundtrack all the time. It's amazing. I fucking love it. I went into this game with no expectations. I just bought it and was like, no, whatever, fuck it, I'll play it. And it blew me away, and I swear to God, it's probably a top 3 JRPG for me. Honestly, it's so good. It's massively underrated. God, it's fucking amazing. I mean, I get so passionate. I get passionate about this game. I have like a 20-minute video about this game, so it's all explained why I love this game, but everything about this game is goddamn near perfect. I have criticisms about it. It drags on maybe a little bit, but honestly, the 60 hours I spent with this game are some of the best 60 hours I've played in a video game in a very long time. Like, very long. Like, Persona 4 Golden, like 5 years ago. Maybe the last time I had this much fun with the game and loved the game this much. Out of the four games for nomination, in this game, if you had to play one, Blue Reflection Second Light, honest to God, is a game you have to play especially if you're a JRPG enthusiast. This game is amazing. Honest to God. Now, moving on to less fun stuff. I have 2 nominations for worst game I played in 2021, and then I have my worst game that I played in 2021. My first game nomination is going to be controversial because a lot of people like this game. I did not like this game. Shimigami 3 Nocturne. I did not like this game all that much. I forced myself to play about 35 hours before I realized I did not like this game all that much. Atlas developed, Sega published. Honestly, I'm gonna get burned at the stake by probably all 5 people who watch this video. This game really just does not strike a chord with me in any way, shape, or form, and it just really is bland as all hell. I enjoyed maybe the first 10 hours when I actually felt like it might go somewhere, and after that I really did not enjoy this game all that much. I can really force myself to play a game, and this is very much a case where I forced myself to play this game far longer than I really should have, and about at the 35-hour mark I realized I wasn't enjoying it when I got frustrated on a really fucking hard dungeon and decided to quit. Pretty much what made me stop playing this game was I just got frustrated and decided to drop it, and then realized I really wasn't liking this game all that much. The combat really isn't all that great or amazing. I don't like the music at all. The graphical style I didn't really like, and the story was really forgettable. This game is not a game that I enjoy all that much. It's not offensively bad, but at the same time it's nothing to write home about, and I really do not understand why people go crazy over this game because it's not all that amazing. I know I'm going to get burned at the stake for this, but Shin Megami Tensei 3 is the game that I really just don't enjoy. Next one is maybe or maybe not a controversial opinion. Disaster Report 4. This game is very mediocre, is all I have to say about it. Honestly, it's not horrific, but honestly, it's not amazing. It's very, very mediocre, pushing the point to being offensively mediocre, honestly, is what it is. It is Grand Zelda developed, NIS published. Honestly, it's not amazing, but it's not horrible. It's just, like I said, offensively mediocre. There's nothing really to write home about this game. It's fucking boring, and that's pretty much the reason why it gets Worst Game of the Year nomination or honorable mention. It's not the worst, but it's also just offensively boring in my opinion. I played about 10 to 15 hours of this game. I didn't beat it, because I just quit. And I swear to God, the ending was right around the corner. I couldn't push myself past that 5 hours to beat the fucking thing because I was so bored. This game is boring. It's a walking simulator. The setting, the idea of like a disaster happening is really cool, but they couldn't find a good way to execute it in a way that actually was not a walking simulator that wasn't fucking boring. This game is just boring. It's just what it is, honestly. I don't like this game because it's just so boring. It doesn't get worse just because like I did play a worse one. Like there was one that I found worse, but it's just so offensively boring I can't recommend it to anyone, even people who probably enjoy a narrative driven game, because the narrative really isn't that fucking good. It's a walking simulator with a poor narrative and no real fun gameplay. So I don't like this game. I hope for Disaster Report 5 to be better. I don't know if it will be though. For first impression for the series, this did not do a good thing. I hope the other ones are better, but honestly I don't know if I'll play them after this game. Worst game I played in 2021. This one I played at the end of the year too. I didn't like it at all. That's why it's the worst game I played in 2021. Poison Control. Honestly, this is a pretty offensive game. It's offensively bad, it's offensively boring, and this game is fucking bad. I don't like this game. I was surprised to look up the reception of this game and see that it actually was not horrifically received. This game isn't badly received, and I don't fucking understand how, because this is a bad game. I would consider this a bad game, honestly. Like, this is why it got worst game of the year over like something like Disaster Report 4 that I found like offensively boring. This is just bad. Like, and a waste of money too. This is developed by Nippon Ishi, published by NIS. I don't know why NIS has such a fucking track record with publishing bad games. They have some good ones under the belt, but they also have some bad ones. Poison Control is just a fucking mess of a game that really could have been good, but it just felt like there's no soul there for it to be a good game. It feels like the developers just half-assed the game, put it out, and just put out an offensive piece of crap. Honestly, and I don't like to say that, but this is really just like trash. It's a trash game. I'm offended by the fact that I spent $50 on this game and just got a trash. Like, it's trash, dude. It's a game where you hope that it will get better at the beginning, and it just never does. This game presents a good concept, but never goes anywhere with it. The game's soundtrack is alright. I'll give it a soundtrack point. It's actually got a decent soundtrack, maybe. Some of the songs are alright, but that's about all this game gets. It presented a cool idea with being like a third-person shooter JRPG. Kinda looked like Mega Man Legends in a way. It looked kinda cool. It's just fucking boring with the dungeon setup, and it really doesn't do anything. It just feels like you're fucking doing nothing for 20 hours, and yes, I beat this game somehow. I played the full 20 hours of the story and beat it. I don't know how, because fucking I dragged myself probably throughout like the entire game, and I don't know what the fuck I had in me to commit to it and beat it. Probably because I'm a fucking JRPG player, and that's just what we fucking do, is just drag ourselves through terrible games. I can't stand this game. I would sell it off if I didn't want to keep it in a collection just to have it. The shooting is boring. The shooting concepts are boring. It presents interesting concepts and half-asses them. The story sucks. Honestly, there's nothing to the story. It's the most trope-ridden story I've played in a while. Like, offensively so. Like the amount of tropes in this game is fucking ridiculous. I played JRPGs, so tropes or whatever, but this one has too fucking many and pushes the boundary. The shooting is just god awful. Like, it's boring and just drags on. Like, shooting time to kill in this game is offensively slow and drags on. There's nothing to the story. There's nothing there. It's vaporwave. Everything in this game falls flat on its fucking face, and it drags it on for 20 hours. I'm glad it's 20 hours because they probably could have aimed for 60, but they probably ran out of budget, which is why this game sucks hard. This game seems like a proof of concept. Honestly, I don't think it will get a follow-up to actually implement the proof of concept, because I'm doubting this got any attention outside of like a few JRPG interested people who played it. Do not play this game. It is awful. I wouldn't recommend this to anyone. The best thing it has going for it really is the graphics and maybe the music. Otherwise, it's a pretty terrible, boring game that you'll take 20 hours just to drag through, and you won't really enjoy that time with it because it never really goes anywhere. Poison Control, god, it's just, I don't know. This is the reason this takes over Disaster Report, is because honestly, it's just fucking offensive and bad, and there really is just like nothing redeemable besides like the music and graphics, and otherwise, you're just gonna be bored for 20 hours. If you see this and you like JRPGs, it's easy to get baited into seeing some shit like this and being like, oh cool, a JRPG I've never played that's a fucking niche. Don't play it. I swear to God, it's awful. Just don't. Don't drag yourself through the 20 hours like I did. It's not worth it. But so, overall, for my games of the year, best game of the year, Blue Reflection Second Light. Worst game of the year, Poison Control. It's pretty simple and plain cut, honestly. Obviously, you could probably tell from my list of games. I think I got 6 like Japanese developed JRPG games, and I got 2 that aren't, which are pretty much the Outer Worlds and Miitopia. A lot of Japanese games. I love JRPGs, which is why pretty much this entire list of me are JRPGs. But yeah, that's my list for the year. If you gotta play one, play Blue Reflection Second Light because it's a fucking amazing game. And avoid Poison Control at all costs, because it's fucking awful. But thank you very much for watching. Until next time, I'll see you. Stay chill.